for putting people on ventilators. What kind of impact does some of this content have on the work that you guys are doing in the health community?
It's very unfortunate because the latest data from the CDC shows that vaccinated people are 5 times less likely to get COVID and 14 times less likely to die from COVID. So this is a vaccine preventable illness at this point. And 13% of people over the age of 18 have had no shot, so they're unvaccinated. And 13% might not sound like a lot, but in a population the size of the U.S., that's over 43 million people. And I say that's how we can quantify the effect of this kind of misinformation.
All right. Dr. Katrin Wallace, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And thank you for watching MSNBC Reports. I'm Lindsay Reiser. I'll see you back next weekend at 7 a.m. Eastern. Velshi starts right now.
Today on Velshi, a Sabbath service at a suburban Dallas synagogue turns into a hostage standoff with bits of audio from the scene caught on Facebook live stream, and Jewish leaders saying this kind of targeting and the fear that goes along with it is part of the American Jewish experience. We'll have the latest with a live report from Texas just moments away. Plus, as the failed former president surrounds himself with conspiracy pushers and election deniers, transparently calling for a better prepared do-over of the insurrection, I'll talk to the Congressman Jamie Raskin, former impeachment manager and current member of the January 6th committee. Then, as Democrats regroup from a major setback this week on their voting rights push, I'll talk to folks who aren't beholden to political deadlines, the folks who are playing the long game on civil rights. Martin Luther King III and Andrea Waters King will join me to talk about what's next. Also, what do you do when you've got a worker shortage, the highest inflation rate in decades, and just as you were rolling into year 3 of a deadly global pandemic,
there's a way to do it.
Supreme Court took away
Unless
one of the key tools that you were going to use to fight the virus. Well, that sounds like an impossible question, but the United States Labor Secretary
that'll be okay for you
to take a crack at answering it. Velshi starts now. And good morning to you. It is Saturday, January the 16th. I'm Ali Velshi, and we begin this morning with breaking news. Overnight, we saw the end to a dramatic day-long hostage standoff at a synagogue in a small Texas town, 30 miles northwest of Dallas. At this hour, the suspected hostage taker is dead, and all the hostages have been released safely. Late last night, local reporters say they heard the sound of explosions, possibly flashbangs, and the sound of gunfire as a rescue team burst into the house of worship, rescuing the 3 remaining hostages, including the temple's rabbi. The FBI has identified the suspect but has not shared his name publicly, and despite him being dead, it says the investigation is ongoing.
Long day of hard work by nearly 200 law enforcement officers from across this region. I do not have any information right now that indicates that this is part of any kind of ongoing threat. We obviously are investigating. We'll continue to investigate the hostage taker. We'll continue to investigate his contacts. Our investigation will have global reach.
It all began yesterday when the perpetrator initially took 4 hostages captive during a Saturday morning service at Congregation Beth Israel, which is a Reform synagogue in Colleyville, Texas, which is after 5 hours, one of the hostages was released unhurt. We're not sure why, but we think it might have been for medical reasons. In exchange for the hostages, the hostage taker demanded that a federal inmate named Afia Siddiqui be released from prison. He referred to her as his sister, but authorities later proved that to be untrue. The 49-year-old Siddiqui is well known in terrorist circles, also known as Lady Al-Qaeda. She is currently serving an 86-year sentence after being convicted in 2010 for attempting to kill U.S. officers in Afghanistan. Right now, she's being held at a federal prison, FMC Carswell, in Fort Worth, Texas. Joining me now is NBC News correspondent Morgan Chesky, who is in Colleyville, Texas. Morgan? Yeah, Ali,
Charlie, good morning. And really the headline coming out of this community today is those 4 hostages safe and sound. We know they have been reunited with each of their family members after this incredibly tense ordeal that played out for the better part of yesterday, not too far away from where I'm standing. This is still an active scene. Authorities are gathering evidence. In fact, after the rescue of those hostages, they spoke with each of them for hours, trying to learn more about what took place inside that place of worship, starting around 10:41 a.m. That is when that phone call first went out to the local police department, saying that there was some sort of situation ongoing. And when they arrived, they confirmed the fact that a man they believe was armed had entered that building and started to make demands, some of which were heard on a live stream of that synagogue services Saturday before it was cut off. Now, it was at that point that we saw a massive convergence of law enforcement arrive, Ali, both at the federal and state level. We know that FBI hostage negotiators in Texas established communication with this gunman inside the synagogue that they say was more or less consistent for the better part of that entire day, really saying that there was no lull and they were able to keep talking with him. However, they share his really only demand that they're publicly saying was the release of that federal prisoner, Afia Siddiqui, at that prison that's just about 20 miles from where I'm standing. You mentioned that one hostage was released around 6 p.m. yesterday. It was confirmed that they did not have any medical issues, and they were able to be reunited with family shortly thereafter. We do not know the circumstances that led to that, but we do know that what followed was 4 more very tense hours of ongoing dialogue with the gunman before that really moment that everyone was watching when we heard that bang. And then shortly thereafter, authorities did confirm that the 4 hostages were the 3 remaining inside the synagogue were safely rescued, and the gunman has been deceased. Now, regarding those final moments, whenever they breached the synagogue, authorities aren't sharing any details at this time as to the cause of death for that gunman, but we do hope to learn more here in the coming hours as they continue to gather evidence and authorities share a little more insight into what exactly happened. Allie?
Morgan, thanks very much. Just flag us when you have new information. We will get it on air as soon as possible. NBC's Morgan Chesky reporting from Colleyville, Texas, near Dallas. More on this, I'm joined by Jonathan Greenblatt. He's the CEO of the Anti-Defamation League. He's also the author of the new book, It Could Happen Here, Why America is Tipping from Hate to the Unthinkable and How We Can Stop it. Jonathan, good morning to you.
Okay.
I was, sadly, last night when I was looking for you and saying, I want to talk to Jonathan this morning, we didn't know what the outcome was going to be.